So, guys, is it finally happening? Maybe. I don't, man. This time for sure, am I right? What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy HMK once again. And now, once again, we are talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 or a successor or Pro Plus Super Nintendo Switch. I don't know at this point, because lately we had more and more sources that are reporting to the VGC and other outlets stating that apparently the Nintendo Switch successor, the dev kits, are finally being thrown out to the wild when it comes to other developmental partners for them to get started on the console games that apparently is coming out around summer next year, 2024. And you know me, listen, huge Nintendo fan, I love the Switch, but we've been through this song and dance before. It's just so funny because given the Switch's success, obviously people are gonna be like, yo, the next Switch, the Switch 2 is happening. It's happening here, it's happening there. It's gonna have this, it's gonna do that. It's gonna have all this special abilities and 4K and upres and DLSS and all that good jazz. But, you know, this year, if anything, like at first I would say before they released all the information of more games coming out for the Switch this year going into next year, I'd be like, okay, maybe this is finally time that we're gonna get the Switch 2 announcement. It's happening, it's coming soon, they're gonna be working on it, blah blah blah. Because after Tears of the Kingdom and Pikmin 4, Nintendo's lineup looked kind of, you know, empty, non-existent. But now we have Super Mario RPG, that new Princess Peach game, Luigi's Mansion Dark Road HD, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder, along with whispers about Metroid Prime 2 and 3 HD, and then Metroid Prime 4 is still MIA. The thing I'm trying to say at the end of that day is that I feel the Switch does have a lot left in the tank, despite it, you know, being, you know, next year it's gonna be 7 years. Next year is gonna be 7 years. That's crazy, right? And Nintendo's still pulling out great games with outdated technology at this point. Yeah, so I mean, I would love a Nintendo Switch successor, but given Nintendo's strategy and what we've seen before with their strategies, I'm not sure if we're gonna be getting one next year, especially considering a couple of variables. If dev kits are going out now, like as of now, for third-party developers to like start handling themselves, how familiar is the technology going to be when compared to that of the previous Switch, of the current Switch? You know, with the NVIDIA Tegra technology that possibly is going to be upgraded for the Switch successor. You know, how familiar are they going to be with that in order to have games ready by summer of 2024, right? Game development has becoming longer and longer and longer as time progresses. But I mean, maybe it won't be as long for a Switch, you know, for a game for the Switch. But I mean, Tears of the Kingdom took like 6 years. And the reason why games are taking longer and longer is because, oh, the graphical fidelity, PS5, Xbox Series X, and you better have a really good graphics card for that good old PC gaming and all that stuff. And check out this phone. It can do a lot of things because of the technology, right? So to have potential games ready, I don't think so, unless they're going to go with this strategy. And this is the strategy I believe that if we do get Switch 2 next year, this was going to go down. Nintendo is going to do this big, I would say, not a promotion, but a campaign to have a bunch of games that are ready to release on the Switch, but can be released on Switch 2. Let's just call it Switch 2 for now, right? Switch 2, so cross-gen. They're gonna have this big cross-gen thing, and it's like, oh, play better on Switch 2, right? Because, like, there's so many people with Switches, and of course, Nintendo will want to convert, they already said this themselves, by the way, Nintendo will want to convert as many Switch owners into next Switch owners, Switch Next, Switch 2, whatever. And I would say, like, a good thing to do that with is backwards compatibility, so that people can feel comfortable with upgrading their Switch to the next model, but not, you know, give up all their other stuff and peripherals and blah blah blah. You know, if this is going to be cartridge based again, which is rumored to be cartridge based, then like I can play my Switch games on it and Switch 2 games on it. And then third-party developers, if they're currently making Switch games, like, hey, here's the new model, this is how you up-res, this is how you get, from here to there, and then release on both Switch and Switch 2. And then, for those that adopt the Switch 2 early, it's like, oh, we grab the game, free upgrades, all that stuff. If you have to download 5-10 gigabytes worth of hey, this game is now converted to Switch 2. That'd be actually interesting to think about. Actually, wait a minute, I'm not so sure about that, because discs would have to download the game onto it, and then you download the upgrade on PS5 for Final Fantasy VII Remake integrate and stuff. So how would that work with cartridges? Can that work well with cartridges? Can you download? I mean, DLC is downloaded onto the console and not onto the cartridges. So I mean, sure, it'll be fine, right? I'm not a game dev. So that would be the strategy I would feel that would be applicable if the Switch 2 were to come out next year, right? And we'll have to wait and see, if the Switch 2 does come out summer of 2024 or around that time or a little after that time, then, when would they start promoting it? Will they start promoting it this year? Will they start promoting it next year? Or are we going to see it at the Game Awards, Gamescom, something like that? Nintendo will have their own thing. They'll announce it to investors that are hey, the thing is coming, right? And then they would release hey, take a first look at the NX2 or the Switch X or Switch X. Nah. With all the thing that's happening with Twitter and X and Xbox, it could be something else, right? So, and considering that a lot of people are still hammering for the idea of Switch games possibly running better on a successor, what I just said, I'm that'd be really cool, especially if the updated dock would be able to do that for you. Imagine playing Tears of the Kingdom with higher fidelity and higher stability. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the DLC is coming out, which we still don't have a release date on, right? So imagine playing that on higher fidelity. Maybe that's what they're waiting for. I don't know, but it's just the thing is, you guys, we've been through this song and dance multiple times. We're hey, the Switch Pro, it's definitely coming. Never came. Hey, the Switch 2, it's coming. And we've been how many years have we been talking about a Switch 2 possibly coming? People have been saying hey, Switch 2 is going to launch with Metroid Prime 4 this year, or Switch 2 is going to launch with Tears of the Kingdom when it launches, and it didn't. And, it's one of those things. So I've been listen. I'm one of those people that's at this point, trust me, I love hyping up stuff as long as we have concrete info and concrete stuff to see. If dev kits have been exposed or anything like that, I'm all for it. But when it comes to something that's hey, it's definitely coming, I've become a bit cynical about it, right? A bit a little jaded when it comes to the idea of the Switch 2 coming and then all this information is coming out. So I look at it with an objective sense, and that's one of the things where we'll have to wait and see if it's truly going to be a Switch successor, because we have no idea what this thing is going to be. With everything we've been hearing is rumors. It's going to use cartridges. It's going to have a handheld mode just like the Switch. It's going to be backwards compatible. Conversion rate, how much, how big is it going to be? Is it going to do 4K, DLSS? There's just a lot of information in the wind, and there's a lot of, I would say, applicable proof in terms of what is being made behind the scenes, including screens, chips, all that good jazz. But all that could mean something or something else until we get the proof. So that's where I stand in the whole, the Switch 2. But I want to know what you guys think about that. So leave your comments in the comment section below. If you think the Switch 2 is happening, is it happening next year? Is it going to use cartridges? Is it going to be 4K, DLSS? I want to hear everything. Leave in the comment section below, and be sure to subscribe to HMK, so when the Switch 2 does have some substantial evidence or anything like that, I'll be all over that. So until the next video, this has been your boy HMK, and I'll check you guys later.